then. Okay, let's get our tier list going. Let me move all this, and let's actually prepare this. So this is the first time we're doing this. Spoon and I, we talked about it last week during our podcast. We've decided to do, since it was relevant, a Kingdom Hearts character tier list. So at the bottom of this screen that you're looking at, you're probably seeing a bunch of let me zoom in a little bit. Probably seeing a bunch of characters down here. I have to be honest with you, Spoon. I don't recognize some of these people, and God help me if I remember all their names.
Yeah, half of them, like, basically anything from Union Cross, I have no opinion on because I've not played them enough.
We may not put them on the tier list then. We'll just like, okay, let's just skip, go to another character. But for now, we'll go with the ones that we like know more fondly. And like for the tier list, I think for me, at least, I'm going to go with just like general interactions with the character that Sora's had, and just the look, and I think also the look and design of the character I'm going to comment on as well. Also, like Demix, for example, is a silly character. I like silly characters, so he might get bumped up for me a little bit. But
I assume we're gonna do kind of a combined tier list, like we're gonna agree on.
We're gonna agree on a rank.
Yeah.
We're gonna agree on a rank as best we can.
Or at least if we're very far apart, we average it out, I suppose.
Can I change this to? Oh, I can change it to F tier. Okay, we're gonna have S, A, B, C, D. I don't know why this was E. We're making F tier. So I don't know what your specific criteria is, Spoon. Do you want to give like a brief what your criteria might be?
Yeah, I mean, we'll just say I think character design goes into it, maybe voice acting a little bit, how interesting the character is, maybe for playable characters how fun they are to play in the game, but again, not all of them are playable, so it doesn't apply to everyone. And then just like how interesting a character is, how important they are to the story, what they add, any sort of character development, like, general stuff you would expect for characters, probably more heavily weighted on, like, the story and character development side as opposed to gameplay. Design as well. Like, if I don't like the what the character looks like or the character design, then they maybe get a little bumped on that one.
Got it.
But, yeah.
Yeah, and some of these characters, like, I don't have, like, a really good feel on, so I'll defer to you on some of them. I'll just say I defer to Spoon's judgment. Let's just get started, because there's a lot, and some of these I think we'll be skipping, but there's a lot on here, and we're gonna start from the top left. Do you know who the top left is, Spoon?
That's Terra. That's Terra.
I'm gonna ask you first on this one. Where is Terra in here, and why, in your opinion?
I mean, he's no higher than C tier, that's for sure, but he's probably like D. I don't know about F, because though I don't like him in BBS, I think his character design is cool. He is Pepega tier.
Yep.
But I like his character design as kind of like the bulky, kind of brute type. I don't think his gameplay in BBS is particularly fun, but it kind of fits the archetype that they went for, at least with him. And I do kind of like his resolution in Kingdom Hearts 3 when he finally comes back and is reunited with Ventus and Aqua. And also the revelation that Terra was Ansem's guardian, or his like heart was Ansem's guardian or something like that. I thought that was kind of cool. So I don't think I'm gonna put him in F tier, but I probably go with D, maybe C if I'm feeling real generous. But okay. he's real Pepega in BBS, and he's not very fun to play as in BBS either. He's probably the worst story out of the three in BBS.
He's the worst story for me. He's the worst story. He's the stupidest character in that, just like intelligence wise. He's the dumbest character. He does have a redemption, so I do want to give some credit that his character does have an arc.
Yeah, he has development and redemption.
He has development and redemption, which I can't say it was bad. I think his arc was as far as I would say, like, good. but I do think the character is not like he wasn't fun for me to play as in BBS. He was just like he was unbelievably stupid, and I mean that in that it was unbelievable that someone was just that oblivious.
Yeah, he was really gullible. He was really gullible in BBS, like unbelievably gullible.
Which for me is a problem, because he's a good-natured person, I think, by heart. But he's so gullible, I just don't believe it. Which means that I don't believe somebody wrote the character like that. To me, it's like a 10-year-old wrote that idea. It's like, oh no, like, he's gonna talk to the evil queen, and she's gonna say to, like, go get and kidnap a princess, and he's just gonna go with it. And it's like, yeah, but that's not what a person would do unless they're actually, like, unless there's actually, like, something else going on with them that they just can't process. So, like, he just couldn't process it. I would go with, like, D tier as like, my generous grade. I want to give him an F tier. But I think D tier because he actually has a good redemption arc. So I would go D tier as well. I think F is very strong, but
yeah,
I could see someone giving him an F, and I would be like, yep, okay. I would go with D. I would agree with D.
I was saying C or D, and you're saying F or D, so I think that falls for D.
I can't do Terra. C. I can't do C. I think somebody wrote his character in BBS poorly on that. I know it's not like his fault, but that's my impression of him. He's not fun to play. He's too gullible, but he actually has some redemption. Okay. Next we have God tier Erikus. I like how it's shiny. His hair is all shiny. I like that.
I mean, yeah, this is Ghost Erikus. These are all the or for the most part, this is the KH3 models for the characters. So that's Ghost Erikus at the end of KH3.
So we have Ghost Erikus. I go first.
Yeah, I'll let you start on this one.
Okay, S tier. I know. S tier. Immediate S tier because of the screams in the fight, and that's the only reason I have. I mean, the character itself, like the character itself, like I don't remember too much about the character in BBS, but all I remember is like, I think he was like, oh god, was he toxic to like Terra? He was like, Terra, you're not a key. Who was it? He said Aqua is like deserving of the Keyblade.
Yeah,
but didn't he say like Terra is it or something?
Yeah, like Terra fails the a mark of mastery because he has like too much darkness in his heart or something like that. And then in the end where you go to fight him in BBS, Terra like catches him in a fit of anger, basically trying to, I think Erikus is like trying to basically kill Ventus.
Yes,
at
he
that
is.
Point.
He's trying to because he's worried about Ventus. He's concerned.
He's concerned about Ventus, so Terra steps in to stop Erikus, and that's where Terra ends up killing Erikus with his darkness powers.
It's all I can think of Erikus.
Yes,
just
you're not good enough. As a meme, S tier is funny, just because of the screams. But like in reality, I think he's a very like. He's just kind of there. He's an average character. He's a very minor character. He doesn't show up that much. But he's a cool dude. He makes some mistakes. He has some flaws, but he has some good points too. I'm leaning somewhere in the middle, like B or C tier. In reality.
But the screams, the voice acting is Mark Hamill. For English.
The voice acting is Mark Hamill. The character design is pretty cool. So yeah, maybe we'll lean on the higher end and put him in B tier as opposed to C.
I'm perfectly fine with that. But that fight is so funny. That fight is so funny. I just like couldn't stop. We couldn't stop laughing. I couldn't.
Mark Hamill freaking went in.
He went
for that fight. Like
he went in. Mark Hamill is actually a great voice actor. So I'm like kind of also glad that Mark Hamill got a voice in this. Okay, next, this is Venetus? This is Venetus, right? I'm trying to like look, and it's like, that's the armor, right? Okay.
That's Venetus, with his helmet off, or it's smashed or something.
Yeah, something like that. In KH3, it must have gotten smacked off. Okay, so Venetis, Venetis is, to me, at least, he's always like the pain in the ass character to have to fight in these games. His fights are not, I won't say always hard, but like,
God,
there's something to get through in these games. So for that, like,
the fights with Venetis and BBS are freaking terrible.
Oh,
like,
there's something.
He just like teleports all over the place and goes underground, and you literally never get to hit him. It's really stupid.
Yeah, he's definitely something to fight against. That being said, like, my only opinion, he's just like one of those like annoying characters in these games in the story. I just like, I've never felt like he was that deep, for me at least.
Nope.
He's just like, hi, I'm here to annoy you.
To me, he's a very generic, just evil villain. I mean, it's kind of hard to do much with him because he's just Ventus's like dark side pulled out of him, so he's just like evil and bad emotions incarnate, basically. So it's hard to make that interesting. And yeah, to me, he's just very generic, evil villain guy, and his fights are really obnoxious and poorly designed. So to me, for being generic villain, he's landing somewhere in the middle C, and then you have annoying fights. Maybe that takes him down to D as well. On the gameplay side, though, the voice acting is pretty good.
Yeah, it's good.
The voice acting for him is Haley Joel Osment, who is Sora's voice actor, and they just have him do sort of like a sort of dark and evil voice, and I think he does a good job with that. So I'm at C or D with Venetus personally.
I'd probably go with D. I just don't, there's nothing to him.
Yeah.
There's just nothing there. And I never liked any of the fights. I always found the fights annoying. He's not a deep character. I would go with D. Like, there's really not much there.
Yeah.
I do think the voice acting is good. That's what I would go with. So.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm good with that.
Okay. We have Xigbar next. Good old Patches here. What do you think of Xigbar here?
I like Xigbar a lot. I think his fights are annoying. We'll just say that.
Yeah, sure.
But I like his voice acting. His personality is kind of fun and interesting. He's cocky, but he like taunts Sora a lot. He says stuff like "clever little sneak" and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think he plays the I think the voice acting is quite good for him, and I think his sort of role as the right hand to Xehanort is played quite well. Well, in fact, he's probably more of the puppet master, but as we find out at the end of KH3. But
throughout the whole other games, like he seems like the right hand.
You see him at a bunch of different. Well, you see him as Braig, and then Xigbar. Yeah, I think he's cool. I think he's unique. I think his like weapon that they give him and his personality and his fights suit him really well. I think he's a good antagonist in that he's kind of cocky and he taunts Sora in the party a lot. And yeah, I like him. I would put him in like A tier at the minimum, to be honest. I really like Xigbar.
He's an organization member I won't say you like talk to the most as Sora, but like usually his interactions with him have been better than some of the other ones, for me at least. And yeah, obviously it's revealed he's not just the right hand, he's the puppet master kind of behind. He's the one pulling the strings here a little bit, but I do think that his fights are they're annoying, but like they're nothing like Venetis fights. They're not. That's like a different tier to me. I would say I think A is probably a good rank for him. I like his overall design too. He's unique, and that's always nice. He's unique compared to some of the others. The other ones can like sometimes get more cliche, but at least like for him, I do find he's at least not as like boring as like a Venetis, where he's just like I'm just here to be bad and annoying.
Yep.
there's some more character to it, so I'm fine with A. Okay, next we have is this who's this?
Yeah, this
Great.
is
This is
this is Dylan, which is the human version, but it's Zaldin.
Zaldin. Okay.
Is the nobody version.
Okay, so this is Zaldin. I have no opinion. I didn't even know who this was, so.
He's the Lance guy in Cage 2 who is in Beast Castle.
Okay.
In Cage 2.
Okay. I think I remember a little bit, but I still don't have much of an opinion.
He doesn't come back in Cage 3. He's not one of the 13 new organization members in Cage 3, so he was left off. Yeah, as far as his somebody Dylan, he's just like a guard, so he's really not interesting at all. I think Zaldin was a cool villain in Cage 2, though. It was one of those where they actually put some Kingdom Hearts story into a Disney world. He was the antagonist in Beast Castle, and he was sort of feeding on Beast's darkness, and sort of taunting and antagonizing Beast as he was going along, culminating with his fight. His fight is pretty annoying. But yeah, I kind of like his attitude, and his design is cool and unique with like the wind and the lances and stuff like that you see, and I like again that they kind of add him in on into a Disney world, which you don't see a lot. So I don't think he's as good as Xigbar, but I think I'd go B tier on him, maybe C, but he's all right. He's somewhere in the middle, B or C. So
I'm deferring to you. You pick one. I don't remember this guy at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna go B. I'm gonna go B on Xigbar. Not Xigbar, sorry, Zaldin.
Zaldin, yeah, that's Zaldin. Okay, next we have gorgeous hair, by the way. We have some gorgeous hair here.
This is Beckson.
Oh man. Vex
This is the Ice Shield guy.
I'm trying to remember.
He's in Chain of Memories.
Oh, that's why I don't know. Hold on, let me look at this. I don't even remember this person. Vexen, Kingdom Hearts? Chain of Memories, you said?
Yep.
Was he in any other games?
He shows up again in Cage 3 as his somebody, and he's like a scientist.
Okay. I have, again, I didn't play...
he's only a villain in Chain of Memories,
I have not played that. This is the first time I've seen this character. Did you do you have any idea on this one?
He's just kind of a mad scientist. He has an interesting arc because he's a villain in Chain of Memories, and then he comes back as one of the new organization members in Cage 3, but then along with I'm pretty sure he switches sides in Cage 3, like he helps the good guys in Cage 3. So he has a bit of an arc, which is interesting, but we just don't see a lot of him. He just kind of comes off as this mad scientist. His fight is definitely kind of annoying. I don't know. There's not a lot to say about him. I think I'm gonna throw him kind of in the middle again. Okay. I think like C is kind of fair for him.
I'll move him to C. I'm looking at some of this stuff for KH3, and I'm trying to figure out his chance to atone for all the harm he caused in the past, even accepts and becomes vexing again. Okay, he becomes like a reserve, blah blah. Trying to see if what happens. Vexen is later recompleted as a human again, and as Evan, he helps Lenzo and Ansem the Wise restore Nominee. Okay.
Yeah,
so he does have some redemption. There you go.
So yeah, I'll throw him in C tier just because of his sort of like he's got a decent character arc, but he's not a very important character. He's a villain in Chain of Memories, but he's not one of the more important ones. He's just kind of a boss who's there, and then he comes back in Cage 3 and joins the good guys. So
eventually,
I think slapping him in the middle in C is perfectly reasonable for this guy.
All right. Next we have
This is
This is
Lexaeus.
Lexaeus. Yeah, I was looking at the attire, and the attire is very similar to Zaldin.
Yeah, he's also a guard along
Yep.
with Dylan. I don't remember what his somebody name is, but I'm just gonna call him Lexaeus because
Okay.
that's his organization name.
Mm-hmm.
Man, there is nothing to this character. He is just a big old brute with a big hammer. You only fight him in Chain of Memories. And like honestly, this is gonna be my first F tier. There's just nothing to this character.
Nothing.
He's just there. He's not interesting at all. His fight is I don't remember at all. It's completely forgettable.
Okay, drop
yeah.
the F tier. We just drop him to F tier.
I give zero fucks about Lexaeus. He was a very like placeholder organization member. He was just kind of there in Chain of Memories. I think only you. I don't even think you fight him in Sora's story. I think you only fight him in Riku's story too in Chain of Memories. So
okay, F tier. I didn't even know who it was, so I was like, "Fuck is this?"
Yeah.
Like I'll see some of the characters and I'll see their faces and like, "Oh yeah, this person," but I don't.
I recognize that guy, but I don't know their
this
name.
person. Okay, we have next up on the list. I don't know if you can see the character's face. Are you able to see the character's face at all?
Yeah,
it's covered by hair.
I know who this is.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Enzo, which is that's the somebody name, or Xion.
Xion,
is the nobody name. He's similar to Beckson in that he's kind of like a scientist. This was a book boy, by the way. I don't know. Again, I think he was also in Chain of Memories.
Oh boy.
And I think he's similar to Beckson in that like he kind of just like he joins the good guys in you beat him in Chain of Memories, he comes back in KH3 and he joins the good guys, and he's kind of like the main scientist that you see along with Ansem the Wise, like helping out restoring Nominee.
Yep.
And I think he's there in Melody of Memory a little bit as well. You see him helping out with what they're doing in that one, so I think he's really similar to Beckson, where, you know, he kind of has a redemption arc, but there's not a lot to him. So I think I'll just throw him right in the middle with Beckson
throw him
at C tier.
All right. Oh, is this the Moon? This is Moon guy. Oh,
yeah,
God, I love... What's
Nex's Moon?
Yes. Oh, my God.
His name is Cyax.
Cyax, that's right, Cyax. This guy, I'm only going to say I freaking love the Moon fight.
Moonshine down.
Moonshine down.
Can you feel it? The moon's power.
I will say, like, obviously I can't speak to like any speedrunning and stuff, but I will say his fight is like, it's fine for me. It was fine for me, and like, I don't think Cyax to me was like one of the people that you would talk to a lot. I didn't think you talked to him that much. Did you talk to him a lot in these games?
There a decent bit in KH2.
In KH2 he was, yes,
a decent bit. Him and Xigbar kind of act as like the right and left hand, I guess, of Xemnas in KH2. So, you interact with them a little bit.
I don't know. My opinion is like I thought his fight was fine, and I just like some of these organization members have the best catchphrases.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think as far as the gameplay, I think his fight is cool. He's you know his archetype is like he's a berserker. He uses a big old claymore, and he has like this berserk meter that charges up, and then you have to knock him out of the berserk before you can really damage him again. So I think it's a cool concept, well designed fight in terms of his mechanics and his archetype as a berserker. As a character, I think he's pretty interesting. He has a cool sort of, you know, him and Axel were friends both before the organization and in the organization, and then Axel ends up betraying the organization, and he kind of has a rivalry with Axel at that point. And I don't remember a lot of the details of it, but he in the end sort of, I think, realizes the errors of his ways, and you see he's part of the ending in KH3. Like, he's part of the happy crew. He's like eating ice cream with Xion and Roxas and Axel at the top of the clock tower in the ending for KH3. So he's got a good redemption arc. I think he's got a good rivalry with Axel going. I think he's pretty cool. I'm gonna put him in A tier with Xigbar personally.
Okay. I don't remember a lot of that, but I thought his fight was like interesting, and I just like his catchphrases. I think A tier is fair. I don't, like I said, some of them I just don't remember because I don't. Yeah, I played it like once, long time ago. Don't remember a lot.
Yeah.
Axel. We have Axel next.
Yeah, we have Axel.
Okay. I like Axel a lot.
Oh yeah, in my opinion, Axel is.
I think he's S.
He's one of my favorite characters. I would go S as well.
I would go
Axel.
S. Axel's great. Axel's great. He's got some really good arcs, and he's definitely He's definitely really unique. So I would go S.
Yeah, he's unique. He's well developed. He starts as a villain. Realizes he has his like friendship with Roxas and Xion in days. Betrays the organization, becomes a good guy, eventually becomes a Keyblade wielder. He has a really good arc. This character like changes and evolves as he goes. He's not one of the main crew, so he's a side character, but he's a very good side character, and he's cool. The voice acting's good. Got it memorized is kind of annoying after a while, to be honest, but it's a fun catchphrase, I guess. He's the fire dude, and I personally I love fire as an element and that kind of thing. So yeah, Axel's dope. S series.
Yeah, Axel's cool. Axel's good. Okay, we have Sora next.
We got our main boy Sora.
Okay,
I'm gonna let you start.
Yeah,
on this one.
I think I don't know how I don't know. For me, sometimes Sora is too good for me. Here's my thought. Especially on a main character. Here's my thought. I think there are certain characters that I think work in certain stories because they have to work. Let's take a Rex from Xenoblade. Okay. Rex has to be the person he is in that game. Because if he's not like that, I think the party doesn't work as well. If he's not like this, I want to say over-the-top, good-natured person. Okay, I say over-the-top because, you're not going to see a person like that often. I think Sora is also over-the-top, good-natured. To a degree that, usually I don't like in stories. For me, I like characters that are not completely goody two-shoes. I like characters that have more complexity to them and have flaws and have distinguishing character traits. They're not always lawful good kind of thing. Sora's lawful good to me. He's just a good guy. I'm not a huge fan of that, but I think in this series he kind of has to be.
Yeah, he has to be.
He kind of has to be because everybody else is the complexity. Everybody else is a mixture of good and bad natures, and also Riku mirrors Sora pretty well in good ways. So I don't want to give him S tier though, because I don't like super good nature characters in general, because I think they're unbelievable.
Yeah, I agree they're kind of unbelievable, and I also think that to me, Sora doesn't really change. He doesn't really have character development. I mean, maybe I'm being harsh on this, but he kind of just never changes, and he just gets by on his good nature and his I fight for my friends, and he always does things his way no matter what, and it doesn't matter, and it always works out because he's the main character, but I think he has development in that, realizing that Riku does things his own way and stuff like that, and that not everyone is going to do things Sora's way, right? But again, I just don't think Sora changes very much throughout. I don't see him grow or change very much throughout the series.
Really.
But I like his design. I think his good nature works very well as the main character of the series, especially with Donald and Goofy as sidekicks. I think he's a cool character. He's fun. I mean, you play as him the most out of any character, but for the most part, he's very fun to play as.
Yeah.
And I think he works very well for the main character of this series. But I agree. I don't put him in S tier. I'd give him. I'd put Sora in A tier.
Yeah.
Personally,
he doesn't really. Yeah, he doesn't really have. Here's the thing, also, that I don't. He can't be S tier. He just doesn't have a character arc. There just is no character arc. His character arc is, I have to stop the baddie. That's it. Like, everybody, here's the annoying part of this series for me. Everybody else has a character arc that probably should have a character arc. He does not have a character arc. Like, I can't justify an S tier. I probably can't even justify an A tier if we're just looking at the character itself. But he is fun to play. Sora is very fun to play. I think his design has too many zippers, but his design is pretty good. I love the clown feet. I love clown feet in this series, so I just like that. And I do think him and Riku kind of work well as like a combination.
Yeah. And him and Xehanort are very good foils, actually, as well.
Yeah.
At the end of Cage 3.
They're very good. It's a very nice mirror to look at. I could slide into A tier and be okay. I do think, like, if we're just focusing on the character itself, I'd probably put him in, like, a B or C tier. But if we're going to go on more, like, extra levels, I think A tier is pretty fair.
Yeah, I think that's... I mean, I think B, especially C, is just harsh. I think his personality is infectious. He keeps everything upbeat and fun. He never lets anything get him down. He's a very, like, strong, like, shonen type protagonist where he just keeps pushing forward no matter what. Happy-go-lucky, let's go, power, friendship. I think he, like, yes, that is kind of a trope, but I think he fits it really well, and I think it works really well for the main character of this series. So I think going any lower than A is a little harsh, to be honest.
Does Sora have a flaw? Does Sora have a character flaw?
I think his flaw is that he's just, like, too single-minded, I guess. It's just like, again, he always kind of does things one way. Like in DDD, he just kind of pushes forward and does his own thing and almost, like, falls to darkness and gets taken over by Xehanort.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
True.
And Riku has to save him in DDD. So, because Sora's too, like, he's too tunnel vision, you know?
Too focused. Okay. My only point was in saying that like I said, for me at least, like, when I see characters that don't look like they have flaws, it bothers me. Even with shonen characters. Let's take some shonen characters. Think of some shonen characters. Goku has flaws.
Naruto
has flaws. Goku has flaws. Are you kidding me? Goku's flaw... Goku throws his kid into the fire and is like, nah, he'll be fine. And it takes, like, other characters to tell him, you do realize you just threw your son to the wolves, right? Yep. And he doesn't even realize it. And he's like, he's a kid.
Goku's main flaw is he's an idiot. Like, he's a complete freaking idiot.
He's an idiot, like, and he gets overconfident way too much. And it becomes a problem.
Sora's kind of that way too. Sora's also an idiot.
He is.
Like,
he is
Sora's
a
moron. Like,
Sora can have some stupid moments, but, like, Naruto also has flaws, and he has a character arc to overcoming those flaws. I just don't think Sora has any serious flaws. I think tunnel vision being his one flaw in one game, to which hysterically in case you're like, you can't be a Keyblade wielder. You got to earn it again. And you're just like, okay. I don't know. I'll give him A tier, but I'm telling you,
you want to put him in B.
I do want to put him in B, but I think A tier is fine. But
I think Sora is, like, I mean, yes, he's the main character, so okay. If we're gonna put,
I'm just making an argument because like when
Yeah, I know, but I'm also looking at the other two characters in B tier right now, and I definitely like Sora better
no, I
than
do think
both of
Sora's
those
better than
guys.
both of them. So I'm like,
So,
I think we just
so either like those guys have to move down, or Sora just
no,
goes in A
I think we
because
just put him in A. I think it's fine.
Sora.
I think it's fine. I'm just not a huge like, oh, a flawless character, how fun, kind of person. Like little minor flaws too, like tunnel vision. Yeah, I can see that for sure. Okay, we have this is the meme lord. Oh, this is the meme lord that we think is the big baddie actually now.
This is Demix.
This is Demix. Let's ignore theories.
Yeah, we have to ignore the theories because we don't know if they're true or not.
Go ahead.
Man, though, I mean, he's a very minor character.
He is.
Doesn't really do anything. He's
there
in Cage 2 a little bit, being a meme and just kind of playing songs and taunting you a little bit, and then you fight him and beat him in Hollow Bastion, and then he comes back a little bit in Cage 3, and yeah, he's helping. He's not a scientist, but he helps out on the good guy's side a little bit. I think he helps like get some things, I think, for the good guys. Like he's helping in some way with the good guys in KH3.
Right.
He's like, I like his personality. It's fun. It's memey. You know, he's like the bard type guy. Yeah, so
it's different. And
maybe I just give him B for the fun personality, I guess. But like, we just don't like. I don't. It's B or C for sure. He just slides right in the middle again because I mean we just don't know a lot about this guy. He's just kind of there.
I think,
but his personality's fun. So
yeah, I like his personality. I like the bard description because he's got the rocker hair, right?
Yeah.
So he's got rocker hair. He's like the rock star.
His weapon's a sitar.
His weapon's a sitar.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I kind of like the theme of that character, and his personality works super well for it. They're like, hey, he's a bard, like perfect, but he's a speed bump.
Yeah,
he's literally a speed bump. His only job is to slow you down, and pretty much it. I mean, yes, he has like he helps the good guys, later, but he's speed bump. Like you don't even pay it too much mind. You just go slowly over it. I would probably say like B just because of personality, but he's just a speed bump, man.
Yeah, it's B or C. I'll leave the final determination to you on that.
I think it's B. I think it's B. Like some of the other ones in C that we looked at, there's really not a lot there. Like there's an arc, but
he's more interesting than Beckson and Xion. Yeah. So
okay,
at least personality wise, yeah.
Yep. Okay. Oh, Cardo.
Yeah.
Cardo.
This is Luxord.
Cardo. My only opinion is Cardo.
Cardo.
B. My only opinion is Cardo B. That's it. I have no other opinion. Fuck this guy's Cardo is great though. Fucking Cardo is great though. But yeah, beyond that, I don't really have anything else to say about this guy. Cardo is probably the funniest thing to me.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Like I like his theme as the gambler, like let's play a game card type thing. But as a character, there's just nothing to him at all. He's just, again, he feels like another speed bump. He's just kind of there to fill a spot in the organization, right? Because it's Organization 13, so it has to be 13 of them, and here's another one. I think, for me, he slides in right in the middle with Vexen and Enzo.
Yeah,
I agree. Like, okay, he's there. His theme's kind of cool, but that's about it.
He's just Cardo. He's just a meme. That's it for me. He's just a meme. Oh god, this guy has the pink scythe, right? This is the pink scythe guy with the pink hair.
This is Marluxia.
Marluxia, yeah. I don't really have much of an opinion on Marluxia either, to be honest.
Yeah, he's the main villain and the final boss in Chain of Memories. And and then he shows up again in Cage.
He does show up again, yeah. He does show up again, and he's in Chain of Memories, which didn't play that. I don't really have an opinion, so I'm gonna let you decide. My opinion is like he's got pink hair and he's got a pink scythe. Like the scythe is okay. Like he's like the scythe is ominous.
I like his theme as sort of like the Reaper, and his fights. At least the data fights with him, you have like a death counter on you, so his attacks don't always do damage, but if you get hit by them, it reduces the death counter, and if it goes down to 0, you just die automatically. Just die, yep. So, I think the themes of his fights are pretty cool. Mm-hmm. I think his design is pretty cool with like the pink hair and the pink scythe. Voice acting's good. As a villain in Chain of Memories, he's just trying to use like Nominee to take over Sora and take over he wants to take over the organization. He feels like that Xemnas, doesn't give him enough power, basically, or that he's one of the lower ranking members, so that he feels slighted by Xemnas, so he's trying to take over the organization. But in general, I find him weak as a main villain. I don't think he's bad, but yeah. I mean, I think on design alone and his fights, I'll throw him in B tier, but he falls in the middle again, B or C. Okay. I don't think he's an exceptionally interesting villain in Chain of Memories. I don't think he's super bad either, but I think his design's pretty cool. So mostly on design and his fights, I think I'll say B tier.
Okay, let's do that. Oh, now we have Larksine.
Yeah, tsundere, crazy bitch Larksine.
We have Larksine. I want to say I want to say A tier on this one. I want to say A tier, and not just because it's tsundere or whatever. I don't know. I find she has the a lot of personality for an organization member. She's very she's very out there. I don't really know I don't really know too much about some of her other the secret fights, the data org and things like that, but every time I've interacted with Larksine, she's memorable. And her design is pretty simple, I think, for me at least, when I look at it.
Yeah.
But she's memorable. She's more memorable than a lot of these other characters. With Demix, we talked about how he has this bard personality. He has a really strong and interesting personality in that it's just so out there. And
she's very aggressive.
She's very aggressive, and she's very much more, I would say, interesting to interact with. I think some of her fights, I think there's KH3 fight with her, and then is there a KH2 fight with her? I know you can do
it's a data fight, an absent silhouette and data fight. Yeah. She's in Chain of Memories again. As one of the bosses in Chain of Memories.
She's one of the bosses. That's right. So I don't know. I always found her interactions the most interesting, as far as just she's not putting me to sleep, kind of monotone talking.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, but at the same time, I don't think she's as interesting as, or you don't interact with her enough to be up there with Xigbar, Syx, and Sora. Sure. So I can't give her enter higher than B. I feel similar with Marluxia. With her, she's a cool and interesting character, but she's just so minor. She's not there that much, and it's just she's just kind of there for the most part.
But man, every time you interact with her,
she's interesting.
You remember,
but yeah,
you remember. Okay. Oh God, here we go. Here we go. We got the lineup here. I don't know how much time we want to spend on this full thing. There's some characters I just want to skip, all the ones with the masks. all the all the
Union Cross characters.
I just don't care. But okay, we gotta start from here. Is this Ansem?
Yeah. This is Ansem, Seeker of Darkness.
Ansem, Seeker of Darkness. Okay, Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, the villain in KH1.
In Kingdom Hearts 1, yes.
So, all I remember from this guy is Come Guardian.
Come Guardian.
That's all I remember from talking. I thought his fight was it was a long, exhausting fight at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it was kind of the culmination of the whole thing. and Kingdom Hearts is light, also,
Mm-hmm.
which is something. I don't know. I liked his final fight. It was a long fight. It wasn't. I didn't think it was actually that horrible. I remember playing it, and it took a couple tries for sure. But looking back on it, it was just like exhausting. It was like a marathon. But you know, the whole game, like you're building up to that moment. I think it's okay to have a bit of a marathon fight at the end like that, where there's like those pieces to it. Yeah, other than that, like, as far as him being the villain in Cage 1 and trying to open Kingdom Hearts, yeah, he's alright for me.
Yeah, I agree. He's alright, but he's nothing special as a villain. His personality is a little dull, but he's fine as villain. You don't interact with him very much in Cage 1. You really only meet him at the end of the game. And you fight him. I don't know. I'm leaning towards B tier on him.
Yeah, I agree. I do like his I do think his boss fight is like just like this.
His
marathon.
design's cool. His design's cool, and his voice acting's good. But
yeah,
I just don't think there's anything super interesting or special about him as a villain.
Yeah, I agree with you. Now we have Xemnas.
Xemnas.
Okay, Xemnas you talk to a lot more, I think.
Yeah.
I would think, than Ansem.
I mean, I'll let you give your thoughts first, but I'm just gonna say this. I think Xemnas is S tier. He's my favorite villain. He's my favorite villain in the series.
In the series, he's probably the best one. Like Xehanort, Xehanort to me is too comically evil, so I can't give him any credit. Xemnas, I think there's at least some complexity to him. He's not like comically like the evil guy. What was his final goal in Kingdom Hearts 2? He was trying to like
he wanted, I mean,
he wanted to do
he
like
wanted to
go ahead.
He's like, nobody's don't have hearts, so I'm gonna collect hearts and make Kingdom Hearts so I can have a heart.
So I can
I'm tired of being a nobody and not having a heart.
Right. So that's what he wanted to get. Yeah, that's right. Because I remember that because he had like we had that whole setup. That like as a villain's goal of just like, I'm just tired of being a nobody.
Of being empty.
I'm just tired of being empty, so I'm gonna do all this shit so that I don't have to be empty anymore. And I think obviously the organization is the same. They feel the same way, so obviously they want to jump on board with that. He's causing all this, like, I'm just gonna say destruction for now. This destruction because he just wants to be whole again. So I'm okay with that as like a villain's end goal.
Motivation.
It's not like I'm just gonna destroy everything. Ha 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 ha. He's like, you know what? I'm tired of being in this position. I want this because I feel like I'm missing this too much. I go with, for sure, S tier. I think is a good rank. Like, he's definitely more interesting than the B tier, right? And I think even the S tier, like, he's got some more complexity to him. I would go with S tier too.
Yep. S tier for Xemnas.
Okay, is this young Xehanort? Am I remembering this right?
Young,
this is time travel.
Yeah,
Xehanort.
Time boy.
Just the concept of time travel with the Xehanort pisses me off. I have nothing else to say. I just did not like this concept of time travel in here.
Yeah, I mean, the concept of time travel is a little oof, but I think young Xehanort is actually interesting, and I think like his fights are cool and interesting with like the time theme and stuff like that. And his whole like disposition that like, yeah, I'm just here, man. It doesn't matter if you like beat me or whatever. I'm just gonna go back to my time and I'm gonna do this all again. So
He's just like, I'm just gonna keep coming back.
He just like doesn't give a shit, and I don't know, I'm kind of here for it. I mean, the time travel concept is kind of stupid, but I don't know. I kind of like young Xehanort. I want to put him in A tier personally, but you don't seem like
I'm not going to put him in A tier.
So.
I just think the time travel is so stupid. Also, just the idea of like, you beat me now, but I'm just going to keep coming back. It's like, okay, yeah, really.
All right, where do you want to put him?
I want to put him in B tier.
Okay, that's fine.
I can't do A tier. I just don't like the idea that we have this time travel guy now. And we just like Xehanort, we time traveled Xehanort here. And like I think the idea of the fight having like some aspects of that it makes sense, and I think him just being like, look, I'm here now, so I'm going to do my thing. I think that's also fine. It's just like we didn't need that. We didn't need time travel. Now we have main Xehanort.
Yep, we have old man Xehanort.
The portal.
Real Xehanort.
The
portal.
Well, first off, the voice acting changed. It used to be Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah, but he died.
Leonard Nimoy passed away. I don't know who the voice actor was in the cage.
I don't remember.
In particular. But I thought the BBS fight with Xehanort when you're Terra. I think it was Terra, right? Nightmare. Pure Nightmare.
Oh, the last fight, yeah. The Terra Nort fight, the one where he takes Terra's body and you play as Armor Terra. Yeah, that was awful.
Pure Nightmare. Pure Nightmare. Literally had to be told how to beat it because I never would have figured that out.
Yeah, no, that's unfair. That's one of the worst fights in the entire series, in my opinion. I hate that fight.
Almost an unfair fight. But so that's one. I'm going to give him one strike for that. KH3. Xehanort final fights where you have to fight him in like that tower thing in on whatever it was called when you go
Scala.
Scala, whatever. Scotland. Yeah, Scotland.
Scala Ed Kylum, but yeah.
Scotland, right. You go to Scotland and
you go to Scotland and you fight Xehanort.
That Xehanort fight also felt almost unfair. That was ridiculously challenging for me. I remember having to do that a lot. That part of the fight a lot. Goat Nort. That's it. The goat.
Goat Nort. Yeah.
Goat Nort was horrible.
The one where you have to fly, basically, you know, because you never get to land on the ground in that fight.
That annoying. One, I did not appreciate that as a fight as well. And I'm only talking about these fights because, you know, part of what we're discussing. Xehanort is comically evil. I put him in the comically evil tier. I don't even know how much complexity there is to this guy. He's just bad. He's a bad guy. I didn't like necessarily all of his fights. I think some of the other phases of his KH3 fights were fine to a certain extent. But I still like those two fights felt like unfair challenge. And I think he's just comically evil. I almost want to put him in B tier.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go way lower. I thought you were gonna go way lower than that.
I almost want to go B tier. I'm thinking, and I do think that his fights, while though there was those two parts with Goat Nord and that, I do think that like they're challenging in other parts of it are challenging in I think a good way. But yeah, those two in particular are horrible. I can't get beyond those two.
All right, here's what I'll tell you what I like about Xehanort as a villain.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't comment on the fights because I pretty much agree with you on the fights. A lot of those fights are pretty freaking annoying. I like the very last one at the end of KH3 after the goat phase.
Yes,
but the goat phase is kind of terrible. What I like about Xehanort as a villain is what I mentioned earlier when comparing him to Sora. He's a complete foil to Sora. He's the opposite. He's the mirror image of Sora.
Right.
He believes that he can only do everything by himself. He has to save the world from falling to darkness, he's like convinced the world is going to fall to darkness unless he does everything in his power to like summon Kingdom Hearts and remake it or do whatever he wanted to do to make sure that the world isn't destroyed, even if it meant using the power of darkness and just anything that it took in the end. And all of his vessels, like in KH3, everyone is Xehanort, everyone is Norded, and you know why? Because he doesn't trust anyone but himself.
Right.
So all the vessels have to be Xehanort. And that's what makes him such a perfect foil to Sora. Because Sora's the opposite. Sora doesn't trust himself. He only trusts in his own power when he has his friends with him. My friends are my power. So he is a great foil to Sora. And the last scene with Xehanort, when you beat him, Erikus comes down and just puts his arm on his shoulder or his hand and says, "It's okay, buddy. It's time to give up." I mean, I just like the end. I like him as a foil to Sora, and I like the end of his arc where he finally says, "Okay, fine, I give up. It's in your hands now," and he hands the Keyblade to Sora and just goes away with Erikus. So, to me, he does have that Dr. Meanbad through most of the series, but I think his arc and his character as a foil to Sora really culminates at the end of KH3 and is actually done really well at the end of KH3. So for that, I want to put Xehanort in A tier, actually.
Okay. Oh god, it froze. It froze. There we go. Okay. It literally froze. I was like, oh god. It didn't agree with you. It's like, no. Just to give you a heads up on time, we got 10 minutes. That's what I'm going to say for a time limit. Because then right. I think we need to stop.
Let's blow through some of these last couple then.
Okay. Ansem the Wise?
Ansem the Wise. I like his arc. I think it's pretty good.
I do too.
He's cool.
I like his arc too. I think Ansem the Wise is. I like him. I would go with like in my. I like him. I do like him. I think A tier. I like him. I do like him.
I was leaning A or B, so I can agree with A.
Okay. I can't. Oh god. We have a problem, Houston. There we go. I'm like it's like it's lagging. It's lagging really badly right now. So like I'll do my best. Okay. Oh god, it's the kids from Twilight Town.
We have this Hain. Yeah, Riku's in the middle of them, but you have Hainer, you have Pence, and you have Olette.
I have to be honest. I have to give my full opinion on these three. I could give two shits about these three. I'm every time I interacted with them, I just did not care. I didn't care. I'm sure like somebody else is going to disagree and say they're great. I can't say they're great. I can't.
They're definitely not great. They're
just there for me.
At best, they are C. They're at best C tier. They're kind of there. They're just kind of there. They do serve their purpose in that, like, they're trying to help get Roxas back in KH3.
Right.
And, they have their connection with Roxas. See, the thing is, the characters, so the characters below C tier are, like, either actively bad, which is Terra, that he's just, like, a bad character.
He is.
Venetis, who also is just kind of a bad character, and his fights are just
horrible.
Suck. and Lexeus, who just like almost shouldn't even exist. He's just like pointless, completely. He's just there.
These characters have a point. I will agree with you. They have a purpose.
To me, all three of them just go right in C tier because they're there, but they are neither good nor are they really bad either. They're just kind of there.
They're just kind of there.
You want to put them in D?
I want to put them in D. I think they're just kind of there. They have a purpose, but they're just kind of there.
Right. I'll give you that. That's fair enough if you want to put them in D.
I'll
give you that. God.
If I could, it's lagging again. This is horrible. Oh, I got it. Okay. If I just pick... Nope. Oh man, this is horrible. Okay, while I'm doing this, talk about Riku. This is just lagging so hard.
Riku's one of the best written and best characters in the entire series. Like, he has a great arc starting as a villain in KH1. Comes back, has to fight against the darkness in Chain of Memories and in KH2, saves Sora a multiple of times, is willing to sacrifice himself for the cause, I mean, Riku's amazing. Nothing else to say. S tier, 100%.
Yeah, he's got the most depth of probably any character in here. So we're gonna go ahead and just do that. There's nothing else to say. He has the most depth. His arc is crazy. What the fuck is this thing?
I don't know what that is. That it looks like Kingdom Hearts to me. I don't know what that is. We're gonna skip that.
We're gonna go ahead and throw that in F tier. It's an F tier now.
Yeah.
We don't even F for what the fuck is this? Okay, we have the all the various masters.
The Union Cross Masters.
The Union Cross Masters. I don't nope.
We're gonna skip all the Union Cross characters.
Who's this? The white-haired kid after the masked characters. Union Cross?
That's Ephemer. He's from Union Cross as well.
I'm assuming this character's from Union Cross.
Yep, that's Skuld, also from Union Cross.
Okay. Spoon.
Now we have Kairi.
Spoon. This is gonna make or break this tier list because
there
are definitely some Kairi stands out there. I know there are Kairi stands. I don't know if you're one of them. I can tell you I'm not. I can tell you I'm not a Kairi stand.
I want to like Kairi so bad, but Nomura just hates her so much and never gives her anything.
She tries.
She tries really hard, man.
I'll say, like, the character is written in a way that doesn't make her seem like she's useful. I do think she has, like, some moments of, like, in KH3, I think, doesn't she and Sora, like, together, like, do some stuff? I know she's, like, was that in Remind or something?
In the DLC, yeah.
In the DLC, they made her seem a bit more, like...
Yeah.
Like, as a part of the triumph over Xehanort. But man, she is a damsel in distress in KH1. In KH2, I just... Yeah.
Mostly that again as well in KH2. Well, I don't know about damsel in distress, but she doesn't do much in KH2. She
doesn't do much.
She's kind of there.
In KH3, they give her a Keyblade. Don't they give her a Keyblade?
Yep.
She gets past Keyblade. Why?
So she can get her ass kicked, get kidnapped again, and then get murdered by Xehanort.
I'm going to give my opinion. I'm going to give my rating on this character.
Mm-hmm.
I think her design is pretty good, though.
Her design is good.
D.
And her connection with Sora is good, too.
It is. D. I feel sad saying it, but I think the character was just put into a position to be bad. Yeah. And I think it's so unfair.
Like,
because she probably could have had more.
Yeah, I want her to be better. I want to put her in at least C tier because I do like Kairi, but Nomura just like took a huge crap on her in KH3. So just the way she was written in KH3, I unfortunately have to agree with you. I think D tier is. I could go C if like I was being generous, but this is a combined list and you're saying D, so I'm gonna agree with you and say D.
I can't even do C. I just feel so bad because I do think the character should have been more involved. She should have been more involved. She should have had a better arc. Her arc is I'm a damsel in distress in 1, do nothing in 2, and be a damsel in distress in 3. And I'm just like, what the fuck kind of arc is that? Give her a moment, please. In Remind, they did. They gave her something. Because somebody was like, can you stop making her a joke?
Yep.
Okay, let's keep going. I see some Union Cross characters.
Yeah.
This is just Ventus. I see Ventus. Should we talk Ventus real quick?
Well, we have Roxas. You have Roxas, Nominee, Xion, Replica Riku, Aqua, Ventus, and Yazora.
Oh, Ventus is down there. I literally got them confused because they look...
Oh, they look identical, but
okay,
Ventus has actual Ventus's outfit.
Yeah, that's right. Cloak. That's right. Okay, Roxas.
Roxas is S tier, 100%.
100% S tier. I don't like his world though, but I will say.
Oh yeah, Roxas world. Yeah, as a character, he's up there with Riku as like having some of the best development of any character in the series. His return in KH3 was a really awesome moment. It was cool and really emotional. yeah, Roxas is amazing. He's one of the best characters in the series, up there with Riku.
Okay. Nominee.
I
don't mind her.
Yeah, she's alright.
I give her C. Like, I really don't think she's a D.
No, she's definitely not D. She's B or C.
B or
she's in
C?
the middle.
Something like that.
Yeah, she's pretty good. She's pretty alright.
She's alright. I would say C. She's just alright for me. Like,
yeah.
Really.
Sure.
Is that sure? Okay. Otherwise, if you want, we can always.
I'm really not sure how to.
Honestly,
she's just kind of there.
She's there. She has like a goal. She has a purpose.
She has a purpose. But
she's like important. So, I would say yeah. I think C is like at the bottom level. C is fair.
Yeah.
Okay, Xion.
Xion.
I don't really have much of an opinion on Xion, to be honest.
I mean, she plays really well into Roxas and Axel's arc, but as a character herself, she's not quite as interesting. But she's really important to them, so probably B.
Okay.
Like,
we should put Nominee in B then. She's important for Sora. She gets him through fucking things.
Yeah, I think Nominee can be in B as well. Yeah.
Okay. Oh god, this is Riku but with
Riku replica.
Replica, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. Fuck this guy. I can't do it.
You want to put him in F?
I hate this guy. I just hate this guy. I'm sorry, I hate this guy. I don't know how you feel. I hate him.
I think he's annoying, but I think his arc is interesting. You know, it's like a am I real or not type thing. But
D with an arc D.
Know. Yeah,
with an arc D.
I don't really care.
She's got something.
Yeah.
Aqua. Oh boy. Okay.
Aqua.
Are you an Aqua stan? Is the question.
I'm not an Aqua stan. Like, I'm not gonna tell you she's S tier or anything like that. Like, I like her design. I think it's cool, but
I like her design a lot, actually. I would say she's one of my favorite like designed characters if we're just looking at the visuals.
She's probably the best character to play as in BBS.
That is also true. I do think she's the best one to play in BBS.
And to be honest, she's probably the main character of BBS because she has like the extra content. If you do the extra stories in BBS, you play as Aqua.
Okay.
So,
but does she have a character arc?
Kind of.
Kind of. I never got the sense her arc was like significant.
Yeah.
She was kind of like sometimes a babysitter.
Yeah, she's a little bit of a babysitter. She gets stuck in the realm of darkness for a long time. She gets Norden and you have to save her in KH3. I like her reunion with her boys and at the end of KH3. Yeah, she's a little bossy and bitchy sometimes in KH and BBS, but also Ventus and Terra are also idiots.
Because they're idiots. I'm fair on that. I think she's just like calling out their stupidity sometimes. I think that's fair.
I don't know. What are you thinking?
I can't give her above A. I don't even know if I can do A. I think B.
Yeah, I'm thinking B as well. I don't think I could put her in A. I don't like her as much as Sora
some of the
or
others,
Zignar or Xehanort.
I agree. Yeah. But I think her design is probably one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Overall. Okay.
Ventus.
Ventus is also a little bit of the Terra unbelievably like gullible kind of thing. I give him a little more credit than Terra on this though.
Again, I'm just like I don't think he's as much of an idiot as Terra. He's kind of an idiot, but
not that bad.
Like, I'm just gonna slap him in C right between Aqua
I do
and
think
Terra,
so. I agree with you. I agree with you. He's definitely more fun to play in BBS too. He's more fun. Oh god, who are some of these characters?
Yeah, the last one we're gonna talk about, who's right next to Ventus, is Yazora.
Yazora. Oh god, I don't know.
The rest are Union Cross characters. We don't know much about Yazora, but his design is dope as hell, and his fight is like probably the best design fight ever in Kingdom Hearts history.
Yazora. Who is Yazora? Who is this?
He's the Verum Rex character.
Oh,
he's the super secret boss at the end of the KH3 DLC.
Never mind. You judge. You give the grade. I did not did not.
Again, we don't know much about him as a character, so it's hard to judge. But just on design and the fight alone, I'm gonna throw him in B tier because I think he's cool.
Okay. We've skipped all the Union Cross characters.
The rest are Union Cross characters, which I don't know enough about to judge.
Somebody get a screenshot of this. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit more. We should download this, actually. I think you can save it and download it. So after this, I will save and download this. But this is the chart. No Union Cross characters. I'm sure somebody out there is going to be sad about that. But this is the list. So feel free to let us know if you disagree or agree. And
I'm sure this... Well...
and if you're a Kairi stan, tell us what happened.
If you're a Kairi stan, I'm really sorry. I want to like Kairi, but Nomura just hates her.
She's probably the most unfortunately written character in this whole series. I think she should have had an arc, and it should have been much better.
I know if Tri was watching, he would be shitting on us for putting Sora in A tier because I know he hates Sora. But
I do think he's comically good. And I don't necessarily like that a lot, but I also do think it's necessary for the game to have a character like Sora. And like the Rex was the same way with Xenoblade. Like you couldn't have had like a really flawed and like you couldn't have had like a quote unquote Kasane from Scarlet Nexus character be your main character. You couldn't have had that in this game either. I think you have to have like that lawful good character in here. So, Kuru says he agrees. Okay, great. Kuru agrees. Perfect. He's a huge KH fan too, so
yeah,
that holds a lot of weight there. Okay, well that's gonna do it for today's podcast episode, and we're gonna call it here because both of us I think need to go do various things like dinner. So we'll post some stuff about this tier list. Thanks for watching. Check out the YouTube videos, and keep supporting us. Tell a friend. Tell one friend. I'm going to tell a friend right now, actually, after this. I'm going to tell one friend that I have. And I have more than one, so it's going to be a huge boost to us. So we'll see you guys later. Thank you for watching.